Hello, Brad here again, and today's review will be on Christian Dior's Leather Oud. And this is a little decant sent to me by Tony, the channel name of Code Horror. So thanks so much for the decant, Tony. He had sent me this quite a while back with some other things that I have already reviewed, like Edition Blanche, Burberry Brit. But anyway, I've been putting this one off because the first time I smelled it, I wasn't too impressed with it, but let's see how I still feel about it right now. Leather Oud came out in 2010, and it is classified as a leather fragrance. And this is from the exclusive collection of La Collection Coutier Parfumeur, or something like that. The note breakdown. We have leather, civet, auger, patchouli, sandalwood, birch, cedar, vetiver, cardamom, cloves, amyris, beeswax, amber, and labdanum. And the base notes, 5 reviews, all positive. So, like I said before, the first time I tried this one, I was kind of grossed out by it. It kind of smelled like a very old, dated, old man fragrance. It smelled like something that you could buy at the drugstore really cheap, maybe 30 years ago. So I kind of put it off to the side. But I really wanted to do a review of it. So gave it another try. I just kind of wore it after work around the house just to get a feel for it. And I kind of started to like it. I started to pick up on that smokiness, probably from the auger wood and the labdanum perhaps. So it kind of reminded me of just, maybe being outside wearing a leather jacket, you're burning some wood or maybe some leaves or something, and the next day you smell your jacket and you still got some of that residual smoke on there, and it's kind of like a body odor smell, but in a nice way. So I was kind of getting that. But then when I wore it to work the next day, I started to pick up on some of that amber beeswax as it dried down, especially. And then the day after that, I was picking up on that beeswax amber pretty much the whole way through. So in the end, what I was getting with Leather Oud was just one of the most pleasant, honey smoked leather fragrances that I've ever smelled. In fact, probably the best leather smoked anything I've ever smelled, because I know at one point I was on this quest to find the best honey smoked tobacco fragrance, and I don't know, kind of left me disappointed. Fu Marie Turk. I'm in the process now of testing out Pura Van. Haven't tried Chergui, but from what I'm hearing, it doesn't sound all that great either. But this one, I think this one is just way to go for honey smoked fragrances. If you're looking for something very natural and manly, and yeah, there is that civet note in there, and that might take a little while to get used to. This probably isn't a first love fragrance for a lot of people, but if you give it some time and just be patient with it, I think the rewards will be there for you in your nose. So I definitely think that this one's worth checking out. So let's go into the scoring and maybe get into some more details through the scoring. The smell, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. When I first smelled it, probably a 3 out of 10, but I really started to warm up to this one very quickly. Probably the best example of a 180-degree turn I've ever had on a fragrance before. Maybe it's because it is such a complex fragrance. I think you got all these different contrasting notes kind of playing off of each other, and if you don't really understand it too well, you could easily write this one off as just nasty. A good example, watch Tony's video where he talks to his boss. I would have agreed with him the first time I smelled it. Now it's just kind of a joke, because I know that this is much better than what he's implying it is. Projection longevity, also pretty good. In fact, what I was doing with this fragrance, I would actually put it on my skin about 45 minutes before I even left the house, just to give it some time to settle in a little bit, bring out the heart notes and the base. Even though even in the opening, I don't find it that offensive anymore. It's kind of weird, because even with Tuscan leather, it was kind of the same principle. It's like when I first smelled it, I thought it was a little bit repulsive, but after time, it didn't bother me quite as much. So maybe there's something about niche leather fragrances. It just takes some time, I think, to appreciate them more so than your run-of-the-mill citrus aquatics. Versatility, I'm going to say 7 out of 10. Great for fall, great for winter. I think it can wear to the office. If you wear it on a date, you might want to make sure your wife or girlfriend isn't grossed out by it, or if she hasn't tried it before, but maybe, don't be afraid to wear it around her a little bit. Maybe she'll warm up to it like you did, or I did. Uniqueness, 9 out of 10. When I first smelled it, I thought it smelled generic, but now that I understand it and appreciate all the interplay, I'm going to give it 9 out of 10. Price point, now that's tricky. I know I was on the internet looking at price points. Amazon.com had a bottle. It was like over $400. And then over at Perfume Court, you could buy decants. I think if you got the 1 ounce decant, it was probably about maybe $85, $90 with shipping. My understanding is that your best bet is probably to just go through a Dior boutique, one that carries that exclusive line. Contact them and see what their prices are. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's one might only be available in a 4 ounce bottle. So I would probably say that Perfume Court might be your best bet. Just get a decant of it, or maybe just pressure some of these splitters, to split a bottle of Dior, Dior's Leather Oud. See if anybody has any interest in it, because like I said, great honey smoked leather smell, pretty natural. Civet, I mean, after a couple wearings, the civet didn't really even bother me. It really just kind of helped give a masculine edge to the honey and the beeswax and the amber. So that's pretty much my thoughts on this one. 8 out of 10. Glad I've had a chance to wear it. Glad I was patient with it. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.